Oh, look. Oh, we're live.
Oh, look, a podcast. How's it going, everybody? I am Jason, and today I'm joined by Mr. Lush, Rat, Cho, and Guardian. Cho's picture is not there, but he is here. And we're going to be talking about the upcoming playoffs for LCK, which start tonight. So how was the first 9 weeks of LCK? How's that? Kind of a rundown really quick.
Insane.
I think it went pretty fast for me. I wasn't able to watch all the games, but I managed to watch all KSV games. And like Rat said, I wanted to hang myself 20 minutes into the games. So I think it was pretty surprising, this split. There was a lot of upsets. I would probably say it's upsets, and a lot of lower tier teams becoming mid tier teams. And I think the integration of the new top laner in Africa, Keen, that was pretty sick. He did really well in his, I would say, it's not his rookie split, but for me it feels like his rookie split because his Ever 8 winner split never counted for me. And I think he did pretty well going up against competition such as Smeb, QV, and I don't know. I don't want to say any SKT top laners because they haven't been solidified yet, in my opinion. But yeah, it's been pretty quick for the spring split, and there's been definitely a lot of weird things happening with upsets and whatnot in the standings.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So many surprises and stuff, like Africa finishing second, MVP in relegations again.
Is that really a surprise, though?
Kinda, in my opinion.
Biggest surprise is
KSV
I
Conjurer,
really
right?
thought
taking
Jinna
a
would
bit.
be way worse than they were. Really underestimated Teddy after his shaky summer split. So didn't expect MVP.
The biggest thing for me was that Kuzan didn't get played at all.
Oh my
On
god!
rocks.
Now that you mention
Yeah,
it,
Yeah, that was
going to
like
cry now.
that was like the biggest thing. Like Lava's good. Like don't get me wrong, he was pretty decent on split, but Kuzan was probably who I was looking forward to seeing most outside of like King Zone, and then just didn't happen.
Yep.
Kuzan overrated.
Okay.
did you say Kuzan overrated? You
Yes. He said that.
Cho, do you want to say anything about this, Cho? Because you're the most 200 IQ out of all of us here.
About what?
About the spring split.
Yeah, it was a pretty interesting split. A lot of upsets, a lot of interesting results. Some teams underperformed, kind of expected more from BBQ, and some teams, I guess you could say, Africa overperformed compared to their previous performances last year. I think additions of the new coaches for Africa definitely helped a lot with that. Yeah, and on the Lava Kuzan point, someone in the previous podcast said that Lava is going to be a really good player by the end of the split. I think that was me. I'm not sure. My memory isn't that good, but yeah, I consider Lava to be a bit of a shitter. Especially last year, he was a pretty garbage mid, but this year's been pretty good. Performing above expectations, and yeah, kind of sucks the Rocks choked and threw away their playoff bye. But yeah, and as for like MVP and Kongdu, they're pretty fucking bad. I think Kongdu is definitely going to be relegated. Maybe Griffin will get in from LCK Challenger, and MVP should have enough of quality to stay in. Like Kongdu looked okay versus SKT in their last game, but they've had a horrible split. I don't think they're going to be able to stay in LCK coming into summer, as is tradition for Kongdu. So it's been overall it's been a pretty good split, pretty interesting.
Okay. Does anyone else want to add anything on the spring split?
I didn't think KSV would be that bad. I honestly like.
No, you can expect them to be bad when it counts.
No, I was like really bad, like really bad. Like I knew they were bad, but that's like extra bad.
Yeah.
Also, I was really surprised with the Rocks Tigers that they performed so well. I actually think they deserved the most out of SKT, KSV, and them to make
I would
it to
agree
the
with you
playoffs,
there.
and they didn't. So that sucks for them. But I
I
feel
feel the
like
same. Yeah.
Linderang improved heavily, Lava improved heavily, like we said before. Also, Sangyun and Keen played good like they always do. And yeah, Jungle was decent as well.
Also, they added Emperor, who used to play for G2, as their coach. So I'm sure that played a bit of a part in them improving quite a lot. But yeah, it sucks that they weren't able to qualify.
Wasn't he in like SIA before? Like in Southeast Asia?
Yeah, I think it was
he
like
was,
like
one split with KT Fixer, former KT
Thailand
Fixer.
or something.
Yeah, Thailand.
Thailand, yeah.
It's a pretty interesting split for him. All right, moving on. Let's move on to the 5 teams that are in the playoffs right now, starting with Kingzone. Let's start off with Kingzone, the big boss, the big boys. And Jason, I think you want to talk about them more.
So I didn't really expect them to be as dominant this year, believe it or not, because with adding Peanut, I didn't think Peanut would be starter most of the time either. I thought they were gonna, like, the first 2 weeks, I think they switched between Cuz and Peanut quite a bit, and then they just, something happened and they just like clicked really well with Peanut, and it kind of makes sense when they already have synergy with the bot lane. So between Gorilla and Peanut, they can have like a lot map control. They did really well, and other than that one game where they lost against Barbecue, I'd say they had a pretty much perfect split. The first match they had against KSV was a little bit iffy just because they had to use the sub, but
hey, you gotta mention his name.
Rascal. No, we can't say it. We can't say it.
I feel offended if you didn't mention his name. Okay.
We can't say aiming. We can't say aiming. We can't say Rascal. It's all, they're non-existent players anymore. They're gone.
Rascal's always in my heart. I cannot take this bullshit.
So
Blue Flame.
Blue Flame, baby.
I am pretty confident about them going into the finals. I can't really see them. I'd say they have a 70% chance against whatever team they're playing against.
Yeah,
That's pretty strong, I think, but it should be pretty good.
Is that it? Anyone else wanted to add on the Kingzone's successful split?
I still feel like Khan really doesn't play any tanks at all. The only tank I remember him playing was Sion. So, I mean, if this playstyle still continues to work, I'm getting really frustrated with it, because it shouldn't work, but it's working. Like,
you're right. He's only played Sion as a tank. That's pretty much it.
And also the bot lane is isolated in almost every game. So
I think it works.
It's kind of a point that you can attack.
I think it works because Khan gets counter matchups like every game.
Yeah, that's why you should also attack the bot.
I think they save pretty much every game last pick for him. It's either him or BDD that gets last pick typically.
It's pretty insane though. He's had a good split. His win rates are actually insane.
BDD though, MVP again. By the way,
like BDD in the middle of the split. I'm not that I'm trashing him. He's a good player, but like it felt like he wasn't lifting his weight as much as he could.
I 100% think last summer BDD was a way better. He was way more impressive last summer, I thought, than this summer.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
But
he's had really good KDAs though. Like he's had a lot of perfect KDAs.
I think it's been the same. He just looked better last summer because he only played Galio and Talia.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Played Oriana too. And he played like 5 Zed games.
Oh, that's right.
He had like 2 Zed games, and he lost them both.
He had like 4, I think.
Oh no, he's played 4. He lost 3. Unlucky did. Okay. Anyone else want to add anything on the Kingzone's topic?
Peanut playing out of his mind basically all split long. Especially on Olaf and Zach. That's also a big part of them having success, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Which is
basically
going back to the BDD point, playing around mid lane, enabling Peanut, having pressure in top lane so he can invade topside all the time. So yeah, Peanut is basically kinda back, but if it would have been a carry meta, I said he would be like really similar to like 2016 Peanut, but it's tank jungler.
The way he plays, you mean? Like the carry style?
Yeah. I mean, he basically plays a carry style on fucking tanks. So
it's pretty cool. Yeah, I think ever since Green Smite or Tracker's Knife got removed, it really made the aggressive junglers like way back who had an aggressive playstyle really excel in the game. I wasn't able to watch much of that the time where the Tracker's Knife got taken out, like that patch. But just reading and listening from what people said and watching some like highlights, I think that that one item really maybe it could have hindered aggressive jungler's playstyle, like without that extra damage or extra sort of combat summoner thing. But I think that more aggressive, like analyst said, aggressive junglers will have benefited from Tracker's Knife being removed, so they could take blue or red smite in the current competitive play, which is okay, I guess.
Who needs green wards when you can battle ward?
Exactly. Fucking Ghost, bro. Let's go.
I still want my good Tracker's Knife back, dude, but it's okay. It is what it is. All right, moving on. The next team is the semifinals team. The semifinalists, Africa Freaks. I think we'll go with Lush. How about you start with this one?
Okay, so basically they ditched Marin in the offseason, got Key,
Thank fuck.
the top laner from previously Ever 8. He had only played half a split of summer for Ever 8 before them getting relegated. So he was kind of a mystery, I guess, for some people that don't know him. But yeah, basically he played insanely well, way better than Marin last summer. Yeah, he can basically play everything, except like we had doubts about him being able to play tanks because he never did it on Ever 8. But he has a pretty insane Scion. So
yeah, I agree.
is that going for him? The only thing I still dislike about him is his TP. I feel like that's really off sometimes. But
He's
other
what,
than
sorry?
that, he's an insane player already.
Yeah, I think definitely I was like, I like Keen as a player. Like I was watching him a bit on Ever 8 Winners. I was a bit hyping him up too. He's really good because like I saw this. I think it was like a one game where it was Ever 8 Winners against KT Rolster in summer 2017. He was actually doing well against Smeb on his own in a 1v1 situation, like without junglers coming in for Marin and camping his fucking ass off, you know. I think Keen really, I don't know. I think that one game just solidified my statement for him. Like I could see him becoming a good player, and like I'm just really happy he didn't leave Korea, as I thought he was going to leave Korea alongside Malrang and Septed, who went to Turkey, which is a shame, I guess.
I think most people can agree that last year too, Marin was like the weak point on
Yeah.
Afrika. Like there was a lot of games where it was like, all right, so Tucson is like super fed and Kuro's like doing really well, and then Spirit goes to gank top and they both die. And like without Marin being there, Spirit doesn't seem to int as much, and that's been pretty good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about our Lord and Savior Spirit.
It's been a good move, in my opinion.
Spirit is really insane.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things that made Afrika Freaks look as good as they did. I think getting rid of Marin is definitely a big one, because it helped the team in the sense that like they kept the good core of Kramer and Tucson in the bot lane, and Kuro has again been excellent as he has been the previous split. And the important thing is that, as Jason said, Spirit isn't inting anymore top lane. Like Spirit has had a really good split. I think he's like a top 3, top 2 jungler in Korea at the moment. Has looked really impressive. I think he has like 100% win rate on Sigil Honey or something. Definitely looking really good. They also have Mowgli, who is the jungle sub, who has played I think like I don't know how many games, 10 or so.
Yeah, something about that.
Yeah, and also he's also looked like pretty decent, all things considered. So like all that kind of really helped the Freaka. Also, you know, SKT and KSV basically playing like shit the entire split definitely helped the Freaka rise. Also, something that nobody has mentioned is the addition of Zephyr from Kongdu Monsters, who even back when he was on Kongdu, I think he always had like good drafts with the team, helped him get back into LCK, but there's just not much you can do in Kongdu because the players are fucking garbage. So I think that he's definitely helped the Freaka shine with good drafts. Alongside, of course, I Love Uv, who is one of the greatest StarCraft players ever. So I think all of that kind of made Afrika Freaks rise up to the second place. I think they're definitely a good team. probably alongside KT the favorites to go to the finals and face Kingzone, Kingzone. So yeah, I think they're a good team, definitely. We'll have to see how they prepare for whoever they face in the semifinals.
Would you consider starting Mowgli against whoever you face?
No.
I wouldn't, to be honest, no way.
Like maybe game one to get a feel for what the other team picks and how the other jungler, kind of like how SKT did their whole like blank and peanut thing last year. See how the enemy jungler paths and plays and then sub in Spirit, but I don't think that's particularly that good or necessary for Afrika. I think they could just start Spirit immediately.
Yeah, I don't think they can do the same because Spirit is their shot caller. He'll probably play every game in the playoffs.
Anyone else want to add anything on Afrika split?
I think I put them 5th. I'm glad I was wrong, and they're really fun to watch. They're probably if Kingzone don't win, I think they're like the second team I'm rooting for. Like I'd be really happy if Afrika won. They've been a really exciting team to watch.
Yeah, true. But I don't know what happened in that last game of the split against KT. Either they were trolling, or they were not trying, or KT was just.
I think that Afrika was hiding strats.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's okay though. I think they had a pretty good split, and it was really fun watching them.
Yeah. Also, Tucson being the best support.
Yeah, Tucson's been playing insane.
Yeah, Tucson's been insane this split. And I think last
Kramer
split
as well.
started showing. Yeah, like last split, the Afrika bot lane started
really
showing the 2-gate potential. And this split, it kind of proved that they were actually pretty fucking good in for like LCK tiers. And I think Kuro had a pretty good split. He's always been really good, every single split. That one mid that doesn't really get much recognition because he's been overshadowed by other mid laners, like with big names. But I think this, starting from last split and this split, his name's been coming up more and more, and I think it's good for him that he's actually finding success for himself individually.
Yeah.
I think he always got outshined on rocks, so he never got recognition.
Yeah, that's
I would
true.
agree with that.
All right. Moving on then. Let's go to KT Rolsters split. Cho, would you like to take this first?
Sure. Yeah, KT. Honestly, KT is still KT. Kind of expected them to finish first because they won Kespa Cup in the offseason, that very important tournament, very highly recognized by the community. Honestly, like they're still KT. Like honestly, I still think they have the same issues as they did like last split. Things are looking for the better, I would say, for KT, but I still think they need to solve their consistency problems in terms of in-game communication between team members. I think that's the main thing holding them back. Also, some questionable drafts here and there are the classic KT thing that's just making me question whether they can win the split or not. I still think this team definitely has potential to win and even go to the finals. It's just whether or not the team will collapse in terms of their mental mindset, because that's always been a big problem for KT. I think if they are able to finally keep their cool, they can definitely go very far, maybe even win the LCK, but I don't know. It's very hard to say. Like, I'm still not fully sold on KT. The good thing for them is that now they have UCall to kind of sub in or cover for Pawn in the mid lane. Though I think Pawn has been like that terrible. I think he's been playing quite okay in terms of stats and overall performance. So we'll see what KT can do. Also, there's Rush, who I'm not sure how much play time he's gonna get. Like in the games he played on stage, he looked okay.
Because playoffs are on 8.6, so carry jungler meta, he might see some games.
Yeah, it could be like the games he played on stage. I thought he looked okay, like pretty serviceable. So that might be a weapon that KT has. Like I'm not gonna get excited. I'm not gonna get hyped. It's up to KT themselves to prove that they can finally take that extra step and win LCK. Because I think they can. It's up to them if they realize that they can and finally stop choking and solve the in-game communication issues they have. And if they are able to do that, then I think that KT has definitely a strong shot in winning LCK. And overall, their split has been, I would say, pretty good, apart from dropping a bunch of random games they shouldn't have dropped. They got 0-4 by Kingzone, which is to be expected, but then they lost like to Rocks, I think, which kind of screwed their overall record. But yeah, I think they had a good split overall, just a few issues, same as last year, and we'll see if they're able to overcome that.
Yeah. I think they heavily improved as soon as UCAL came in.
I think yeah. To talk about Lush, did you want to talk about KT more?
What?
Did you want
Like,
to talk about KT? Yeah. go
I
ahead.
only wanted to talk about UCal more, basically.
Yeah, I just want to add on about UCal's thing. Uh, I'm glad that he was able to play this split, and I'm glad that he was actually, pretty good performance for his rookie split. Not something like it wasn't underwhelming, it wasn't overwhelming. It was like just right, but he did have a lot of good showing and potential as a mid laner who's like really young. I think he's younger than Score by 9 years, which is actually kind of fucking impressive. Like he's really comfortable in the environment that he's in. Like if you watch those OGN behind the scene videos or listen to those voice comms, he's really confident and he's like he listens to the team well. He knows his duty. I'm really excited to see UCal stick with KT, hopefully for the summer split, because I want to see him have a more successful career for his first rookie year. Yeah.
Yeah, also Sven is insane. Legit.
I think KT have the best shot, other than Kingstone, of winning
For summer split.
spring split.
Oh, sorry, spring split. Would you say it's because of the roster, like how it's pretty much everyone's the same? Like, it's kind of like Afrika then, right? Only one position has changed, or they added a new sub in.
The way I see it is, they pretty much have like I always said that Smeb was like he was always the best, and then like Khan has been really consistent, but I think Smeb's like the only top laner right now who can actually like punish Khan pretty well, and he can't just play like blind pick Jace and just dump on him. Like even though that they lost like 4-0 to Kingzone this year, they did beat them at Kesper Cup, which is now kind of like a joke and like people don't really take it too seriously. But I like even last year, I really was impressed by how KT was able to play against Longzhu. And I think they could replicate it if they have like really good prep for playoffs. They just need to make sure that they just stick to their win conditions and then Def doesn't get caught.
Yeah.
I feel like the advantage KT has over any other team in the playoffs is that they have basically players in each row, maybe except mid lane, I don't know, that can steal games. They can like legit 1v9 games, and that might be kind of a way to punish Kingzone. Like, not punish Kingzone, but like steal a game or two in the series.
I mean, yeah, the
So-
roster's pretty stacked too on paper too, but I'm just hoping they mesh well and be consistent too. So yeah, because there's been a lot of inconsistent showings from that roster or from the team in a couple of games, which is kind of sad to see because they've had a long-term synergy sort of thing. Anyone else want to add anything on KT?
Not really.
Not really. Okay, we'll move on to the fourth place team, SKT. And Rat, I think you should take this first.
SKT. I mean, their split was. I mean, it was weak. It was obviously disappointing because they came off World Finals, but I don't think it was as horrifically bad as people make it out to be. Like, yeah, they had some rough patches, and they were pretty inconsistent with their rosters. They struggled to find like the perfect five. I think they found them in the last week. That seemed to be their best roster.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. I wanna say though, Bang was really consistent this split. Like, he was so bad at Worlds, and then he just goes under the radar the entire split. But he was actually really good.
Well, I can't really say much about SKT. I haven't really watched all the games, but when I do, it's like I've watched most of the games, but I'm not sure what really the problem is and how they're not meshing well because I haven't been really paying attention. But I guess with integration of Thal and Blossom, and the ones that's played as subs, I think they've been pretty okay. I think Blossom especially he had a really good first 2 or 3 weeks, and then he was benched for blank afterwards because of the coaching staff decision or someone like that. But
That bit with Wolf Jungle was weird too.
yeah, that felt pretty weird to me. I was like, I don't know what the fuck happened there, but that was like the start of a really crazy and weird split.
I think Wolf Jungle was because Blank was really, he had a really bad mentality. It seemed like he was like completely broken for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think with the current roster they have now, that's going to playoffs. I think maybe it could be Thal, Blank, Faker, Bang, and Effort. I think what really lacks in that bit is who's going to be the shot caller for the team, because Effort and Thal, well, Effort's obviously a rookie, and Thal, I don't think he talks as much. Faker and Bang, they could be the one that's shot calling, but without Wolf, then who is the one that's actually going to start leading them, into like
I mean, I think
engaging team fights and stuff like that? Who's going to be the main shot caller for the team if Wolf isn't there?
they share it a lot, but I would like to see Wolf play instead of Effort.
Yeah. Especially
I
when
don't
you
think-
consider Effort playing
Yeah, I
really
don't think-
shaky in his first games in the regular season, and why should it be different in playoffs? Basically, why should he have shouldn't have jitters again? Basically,
Yeah, I don't think Effort brings more than Wolf does, really. Like, he's just a better laner, but Wolf brings a lot better vision control, and obviously he shot calls.
Yep. Agree. Is there anything else to add for SKT split?
yeah, I have a few things. SKT won their, I think, last 3 series. Yet all games were really close. Especially the series versus Kongo, which was like
Yeah.
the series almost Kongo should have won, in my opinion.
Match face.
Yeah. The top laners just seem way worse than any other tops in the playoffs.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's probably their biggest weak point.
Yeah. I feel
Honestly,
like-
though,
Especially with QV
right now-
looking really good against Con, actually.
with the way the meta is too, though, like top lane being your biggest detriment isn't like the biggest deal. Like if right now, like they had, let's just say that their top lane was awesome and that Bang was underperforming, I'd be way more worried for them than I am. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. Like,
Um,
you could just stick tall on a tank.
Yeah, he can just play Scion and it'll be fine.
Also,
I
I feel
think-
like
Yeah, go ahead. Lush?
I feel like the main problem for SKT might also be like their team play, that they basically don't follow up. Like they just aren't on the same page, kind of a deal, because they feels like always when they roster swap someone in and out, they just feel like a different team each time, and I feel like their identity gets lost over that in a
Mm.
sense.
I also think that people are way like shitting on SKT. Like they didn't do as well as usual, but they still like were fourth place. They still like did that for how their season started. They actually finished really well. Like everyone's making it seem like they're 10th place. They had like a really rough start, and it took them a bit to kind of find their footing. But at the end of the day, they still made playoffs. So
Yeah, I'd say the same, but I wouldn't bring up the fourth place as a good thing because they pretty much made it to fourth by like one game. So
Yeah.
still better than they were projected at the beginning of the year. Is more what I
yeah,
meant.
Just last for me to add, I just want to. I think Untara, I kind of put all the eggs in the basket for Untara, which is pretty stupid to me. Like earlier in the split, because I thought he would actually do well or have an improved split, like after not going to Worlds with SKT last year, and I thought that was going to be motivation for him, but it seems like he's just a solo queue beast, and he's got a good streaming personality, but his competitive play has been lacking substantially ever since I think just after summer 2017, like when they had the second telecom wars, when Untara was actually doing well, and then he started dropping. His form started declining slowly, which is kind of sad to see. But I'm just hoping he picks up his stuff, because otherwise he can have a full-time career in streaming with his personality. That's pretty much it for me. Anything else to add for SKT?
I think for SKT that several things ended up in them performing really, really bad. I think the first one is them losing Peanut and Hooney in the off season. That was really bad, and then kind of SKT had to patch things up, so they were kind of stuck with Intar, and they picked up Thal, which in my opinion is still a good pickup. Another big thing, as I've said, like week one, back when we had that podcast, was that they lost Carter, who was their coach. He went to coach the SKT PUBG team for some fucking reason, and I think that was a
league killer.
yeah. I think that's been a pretty big blow for SKT as well. Honestly, SKT's top side is just really, really bad. It's a part of the map that's really exploitable for SKT. And I think that if honestly certain people in the LCK Discord like to shit on Faker, say he's not top 4 mid. I think that if Faker didn't play, Faker, in my opinion, had a good split. If Faker didn't have a good a split as he did, SKT would not be in playoffs. I think Faker has been playing, maybe not at his best, but still more than good enough. Bank has also been playing really good, and it's kind of those two things that have kept SKT basically in playoffs. Them experimenting with Wolf Jungle has been just, I don't know, that was weird. Every jungle tracked Wolf. It was pretty bad, so I'm not surprised they dropped it after like week 1. Effort hasn't looked that good in his first few games, but like these last few, I guess he was okay. I still think Wolf should definitely be starting because Wolf is like Bang Wolf is still, I think, a pretty solid bot lane, all things considered. So SKT is kind of facing this problem where their top side is pretty fucking bad, while their like mid and bot are pretty solid. And that's kind of something that Kokoma has to patch. And I think it says a lot about Kokoma as a coach that he was able to take this roster and kind of push it through, like carried its corpse to like the 4th place playoff spot barely by a game. Yeah. Because like it's quite hard when you lose like players like Peanut and Hoon and you're stuck with Intara in the top lane to actually make it work. I agree that people have been shitting on SKT a bit too much. But it's kind of to be expected. They're the most dominant team ever in the history of League of Legends. Kind of like how people like to shit on TSM and NA. It's kind of the same thing here. Like, oh, hi, SKT sucks, lol. But like, it's kind of hard to say about how does SKT actually win the LCK split, because I really don't think they can. But as they say, it's the biggest waste of time in your life to worry about SKT. So it wouldn't surprise me if somehow they find a way to lift the LCK title yet again. But yeah, overall their split has been quite poor. And they should thank Rocks that they managed to make playoffs most of all, because Rocks threw that series fucking so hard. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how SKT does tomorrow versus KSV.
I think it will come down to how much whipping Koma's done. Like, if he has managed to like point out their issues and found a way to fix them quickly, then I think they can. I think they'll make quarters at least. If they beat KT or not after that, I mean that really just depends on what roster they play and also if they fixed their most important issues.
Yeah.
I feel like the issues lay much
so basically
deeper than
top lane stops inting.
Yeah, but like
let's go ahead.
Basically improve a player so much that he isn't just worse than everybody else. So I feel like it can be just a bandage fix against like KSV and get them through, but I think like as soon as they play versus KT, it will be like they will be destroyed, in my opinion.
But then again, we saw the same thing last split though. Like they were still in fucking 4th place last split, or was it 5th? I don't remember, but they were in the wildcard match and they still made it to the finals. So
yeah, fair enough. Actually, was KT they might win because KT mental boom, but
as usual, as is tradition.
Yeah,
playoffs.
basically.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Moving on. Let's move on. Last team, KSV. I guess I'll start with this one. For me, KSV has always been like inconsistent team. Well, this roster has always been inconsistent way back from the Samsung Galaxy days. Looking at them this split, coming from Worlds, I thought that they would have a lot of motivation. They would have improved. They would have like a really strong core by now. They're the only team that came into this split with the same roster from 2017, or without any new additions or anyone leaving besides the subs, Ruler and Wraith and Stitch. I think the most consistent player, the most outstanding one on KSV, honestly, I'll have to give it to Ruler. With bias or no bias, I think he's been performing really well. He's 1v9 a few games.
Yeah, Ruler has been really
He's
1v9.
been insane, yeah. And his ultra comfort pick on Varus, I mean, people, if you were smart, you would ban that against him. But stronger teams like KZ or KT they exploited Ruler's Varus with other picks like Caitlyn and all that to negate his laning phase, which is understandable on paper. I think Ruler's had a really good split. His win rate hasn't been that well, but I can't really blame that on him solely because his team hasn't been as strong as I'd like to be. Like, I think the most volatile player on the team, I would have to give it to QA. QA has been really volatile this split. It's not that he's been the best player. It's not. He hasn't been the best player at like his 2017 or 2016 form. It's just that he's been really inconsistent. Just like the KSV roster sort of thing. He's had some really good games where he could like 1v9 in top lane, negate the ganks, turn 1v2s around in his favor. But there's been times where he's been exploited multiple times in the same fashion by different teams in different series, and he just loses to that. He ends up losing the lead. And Ambition, with his farming style and his passive style, I think after the Tragus knife got removed in that patch, I kind of saw him suffer a bit. I was looking at his solo queue sort of stats, and he hasn't been doing that well in terms of like KDA and playstyle. I watched a few VODs of him after the Tragus knife got removed. It looked like he was like running a chicken without its head, running around aimlessly. But he sort of found his footing slowly into the patch, which is a pretty it was slowly, but it was surely. And I'm glad that he did, because there was some games that he did really well in team fights, and he was like the main key to making sure that Ruler was actually DPSing the backline and making sure that the main carries in KSV weren't dying. But yeah, Ambition has always been like, he's been okay, but it's just that I don't like his playstyle in this current meta. I don't like his playstyle at all. He's been farming. He's not ganking as much as I'd like him to be, but it's his playstyle. We have to respect that too. And if we change his playstyle, then what's the point of Haru, basically? Because Haru is like more, I would say, aggressive version of Ambition, but his shot calling abilities is utter shit. Haru the split was okay on Rengar, his signature pick.
Dude, 8.6 Rengar buffs.
Yeah, dude, I'm hoping he brings it out tonight, but you can only wish. If they didn't get 3-0 by SKT, that is.
2-0.
Oh, that's right. Fuck. I think Haru's Camille. I never want to see Camille jungle ever in my life again. I just don't like it. People think people might think it's good, but I just don't like the fact of the Camille jungle. I just don't like it when it's in Haru's hands or it's in Blank's hands. Sure, they've had some successful games in solo queue or maybe one good game in the split, but I just don't like the idea of a Camille jungle, especially with Haru having it. I think Core JJ, just talking about him, he's been okay. He's been an okay player, but not the best form. Back in 2017, he's definitely entered way more than I like him to int. Like, he would just fucking face check up into a team of 3, or he would just int, like literally straight up go to them, get hook or get CC, and just die like that. Yeah, the next Achani. I think Ruler's been going back to Ruler. He's been really good this split, and I think there was this one game. It was a KSV against BBQ, where they 2-0'd BBQ, and the first game 1, it was Ambition and Crown inting their asses off. And then it was QV, Ruler, and Core JJ literally 3v7 the whole game. Ambition and Crown would get picked off as usual. And QV, Ruler, and Core JJ would just turn off the fight. I think it was one of the highlights. And like, that's what kind of made me feel reassured with the team. And kind of glad that Ruler, he was actually making a name for himself and not that undershadowed AD carry back in 2016 or in 2017 where people didn't really know his name just because he was a nobody, or people were like overshadowing him. It's like big names such as Prey, Bang, Uzi, Deft, all those big names were overshadowing him at the time. But I'm really glad he's found his footing this year, even though KSV hasn't been as successful as people would like them to be. So, for me, best player on the team is on KSV's ruler. Weakest one would be Crown and Ambition. They both share the same. Most volatile one would be QV, and Core JG is pretty much mediocre for me at this point. With their playoff chances against SKT tonight, it's kind of bittersweet to see them play against SKT in the first wildcard match, in the first match of the Gauntlet, which is pretty shit. But honestly, if they keep playing like how they were playing in the past 3 weeks, it's probably going to be 2-1 either way. There's no 2-0s tonight. Probably 2-1s. But yeah, that's KSV for me.
I would agree with most of that, especially that Ruler was their most consistent player all split. Also, I feel like a huge letdown this season has been Kube.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hard to agree
Probably
with
his
that.
worst season since like season 5.
Honestly, both solo laners for KSV have been fucking garbage. This split.
Crown, yeah.
Yeah, I think if Edge didn't exist in the league, Crown would be the worst LC game.
I
Like,
think
even worse than Ian.
I think Kiwi looked better towards the end of the split, especially the last match against Kingsman.
It's pretty impossible to get worse though.
It's true. I mean, I
he-
can't deny Crown has
he
been
actually
slow
looked
for like
good against
1 year
Tom.
straight.
Like,
I think
Yeah.
I think the big thing for KSV, like they didn't look terrible until the patch hit that changed how the vision works, and they removed Tracker's Knife, and then KSV has just been on a downward spiral ever since. Like I don't think they adapted that well initially to the meta. Like it has looked better until the end, but I think Crown crying in the boots says it all. Really, like all things considered, KSV should have been eliminated from the playoffs, but
Yep.
God damn it, Rox, you fucking idiot! Holy shit!
I'm a
But-
junior fan for life now.
But yeah, everything you said stands, and it's just like, especially their solo laners, they've been garbage, like literally garbage. If it wasn't for a ruler, nah, KSV wouldn't have any bright lights.
Yeah,
Also-
Ruler carried like the dead body into the playoffs, basically.
Dragging them in the finish line. That's pretty
Yeah,
much it.
basically.
I think.
Also,
Oh, sorry.
go ahead.
You go.
No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say I think the SKT should have actually a pretty easy time with this series, and I think it'll still be 2-1, but I think it'll be more. I think it's like a 60-40 SKT 2-1.
Yeah, I gotta agree because like I can't really trust KSV consistency. They've been inconsistent as fuck, dude.
Also, Edgar. Ooh.
Edgar,
That's Edgar.
like every time he comes into the booth, it's either he just smiles, you know. Like that very last game where Crown was crying, I was gonna Edgar the whole time. I wasn't even looking at Crown. I just saw Edgar give like a faint smile. My heart broke. That was it. You thought my heart broke when I saw Crown crying? No, my heart broke when I saw Edgar faintly smile at him. That's it. Who's Crown? I only know Edgar. That's it.
It reminds me of that MVP coach. Like they lost 2-0, some said, and he was like laughing his ass off in the booth.
That was so funny,
God
holy
damn it.
shit.
Oh god, it is what it is. But yeah, I guess we'll see what happens. In tonight or in how many hours? What is it? 9? 9 hours
No,
time?
10
Yeah, 9
hours.
hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see who'll be the first team to get eliminated by KT Rolster. Obviously.
Yeah, that's gonna be which one's gonna lose to KT in the first
Yeah,
round.
But the
I'm
thing is,
honestly-
right? Yeah, go ahead.
This will be like the only thing that this will prove is will KSV ever be able to win a fucking
Yeah,
playoff
pretty
game?
much.
Will they be able to win a playoff game? Because it's just been really sad for like a long time.
If we win one playoff game tonight, drinks are on me when I visit you guys. Okay, if we won one playoff game tonight, I'll be happy. But it's funny because KSV and SKT, like as Papa would mention in his tweet last night, like they're like kind of the kryptonites for KT. You know, like the telecom wars. Historically, SKT has been shitting on KT, and I think this year was the first year KT's actually won against them 2-0, or won their first telecom war in a split. And KSV, honestly, I think it was ever since 2016 and 17. I don't think Samsung won a regular season series against KT, if I was correct. But this year they managed to win 1 out of 2, which is, it's an improvement. It's okay, I guess. it's okay for me as a fan who watches them wanting to kill myself, but it's good enough for me. But yeah, all right. Anything else to add on for KSV?
Nope.
Let's just do
Hmm.
let's do player predictions then. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was
sure.
literally just about to say that.
All right. Okay, for me, I think for tonight's series against KSV and SKT, I'll put my faith in KSV.
Ooh.
I mean, I know I shouldn't doubt SKT, but I'm
No,
gonna.
it's more you should doubt KSV.
No, I know. I doubt KSV, but I'm putting my eggs in the basket for KSV, and whoever they face against, whoever wins tonight against KT Rolster, I think KT might win, but they might whiff it. So it's like 50-50. I'm not sure about it, but tonight for me it's KSV. I'm gonna just be on the KSV train tonight. I don't care if we lose. I don't care if we shit talk. It's fine, but I think the finals. I think it'll be Kingzone against. Honestly, I think it'll be Kingzone against Afrika or KT. That's it. I don't think SKT or KSV will make it all the way to the finals. They'll probably get knocked off.
I don't know. For some reason, I have a hard time seeing KT make.
It's like a curse sort of thing.
Yeah, it's like
I feel
something
uneasy
just-
thinking about it, but I don't know. This could be the year UCal wins his first. You know, he's gonna get his reward for being a fucking monster, dude. All right, that's my predictions.
I'll go then.
UCal Royal Road. Hell yeah.
So last year, SKT was the first team to ever make it all the way from the wild card match to the finals. They're not going to do that again this year. There's no way. They look really bad. So they're going to win tonight, and then they will lose to KT next week. KT versus Afrika, I think it's going to be 3-2. It probably could go either way, but I'm going to because I think it'd be a really exciting matchup. I'm going to say Afrika win, and then KZ wins finals 3-0.
Yep. That seems pretty fair.
All right, I'll go next. I think SKT are gonna. I mean, I think it's actually gonna be like pretty close in the games, but I still think SKT are going 2-0. Which is kind of sad for KSV. Then KT versus SKT, I think that's actually like really unpredictable, depending on which KT shows up and also which SKT shows up. I do think KT would still win that though, but there is like slight chance that SKT could win in like a 3-2 series, but I doubt it. In semifinals, I think Afrika win no matter who they face. So it's going to be Afrika Kingzone finals. I think most likely Kingzone win, but I think there's a chance that Afrika take it, like 40% chance. I'd say the final goes 5 games though.
Yeah, I hope it's 5 games and not like 4 games like last split. Yeah.
Historically, finals are never exciting.
Yeah.
Agree.
I
Yeah.
felt the same way. It's either been a stomp like 3-0 or 3-1s basically.
Even if you think about like 2016 summer, what Rocks won against SKT, and it was just exciting because they beat. Oh no, they didn't run against SKT.
It was
KT.
against KT.
It
I think
was KT, yeah.
that was pretty
No,
exciting.
that was the one where KT stole Baron, or Rock stole Baron, right?
Yeah.
2 HP.
Yeah.
That was a pretty
You know,
exciting
you know what? That was actually the last exciting one. Like,
Or forever second.
Yeah.
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 SKT won the following summer. That was pretty boring. They 3-0'd KT.
KT, yeah, it was
Yeah.
a 3-0.
And then Longzhu had really 2 convincing games, then kind of flubbed up game 3. It was pretty boring too, to be honest.
Yeah, I
Okay,
didn't
we
feel,
need,
I didn't feel the hype. Yep. Okay.
We need Cho English predictions.
Yeah, sure.
Alright. Well, KS versus SKT, it's hard to say. It's like choosing between diarrhea and being constipated.
Yeah, they're both basically bad.
shit either way. I don't know. I'll say SKT because of Faker. Bang. I think that Faker should just destroy Crown really
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be rough.
Then after that, I don't know. Like SKT versus KT is close. KT should win, but KT has that classic mental block when they play SKT. So who knows how that one will go. But I don't think it matters. I think Kingzone will definitely win LCK. Pretty.
Convincingly.
I wouldn't say convincingly. I think finals might go to 5 games, as Rat said, but whoever they face. But I think that they're by far the best team in the world. They don't really have any weaknesses that I can particularly think of.
IG.
Be quiet. Be quiet. Be quiet.
That threw me off. Okay, yeah, no, I think the Kingzone is the best team in the world. They don't have any weaknesses, and they also play in a good region, unlike IG. So I think they'll just win LCK. So I don't think it really doesn't matter who they face. They'll probably go to 5 games because I think that both Afrika and KT have that have the strength in them to take it to 5 games. But I think that Kingzone will prevail at the end. They're just too good. Like they have really good players in every role, best in the league, and I just don't see. If they lose this split, I'll be surprised.
That would be like one of the biggest throws ever, I think, if they lose.
Yeah. Especially because they're in the finals, they have all the time to prepare. Which the same thing happened last year. They got the direct buy, they got to observe SKT, and they were able to beat SKT. So that prep time is very, very important because they get to see how SKT plays, how KSV plays, how KT plays, and how Afrika plays, and that's really important. And Korean teams know how to use that effectively.
Yeah.
Okay, so my predictions for tonight will be actually KSV 2-1.
My man, that's my man right there, dude. I'm gonna go to Germany get you a drink, my man.
Unmodded.
Yeah. So my reasoning will be SKT hasn't convinced me in the last 3 games, even though they won. I feel like their series score is kind of lying. They played worse than they actually. Either way, the main carry for the tonight will be Ruler. He will legit 1v9. I can see it coming. Kuve won't end his face off because he's playing versus an also shit top laner, no matter if they start Utara or Tar, so he can't end. And that's basically only living Crown, so it's like 2 versus 1, and maybe like one of the KSV carries can actually carry versus SKT. So then they get 3-0'd by KT, like dunked, like that will be really bad. And then KT plays versus Afrika, which will be a really close series in my mind. Yeah, I can see KT pulling through because of their star power. Like I said before, Keen hasn't looked particularly good against Map. This was actually his weakest matchup in all of his games. Not Khan. Also, I think Score always set Spirit's number this season. And yeah, finals will be KT versus KZ, 5 games. I'm not sure who wins. Probably KZ. So that's it.
That'll be pretty cool, actually. Yeah. I'd love to see KT or KZ finals too. Sounds pretty interesting now on paper, but yeah. Okay. I guess that wraps up the predictions from us. And is there anything else that you guys wanted to add?
I wanna touch on all the junglers in the playoffs. I think every team has at least one jungler that really likes carry junglers, and because it's on 8.6, unlike other regions who are on 8.5 for playoffs, I think those carry junglers can definitely pull out some stuff that people won't expect.
All right. Okay. To conclude the podcast, would we want to finish off with a Q&A?
Okay, let's do that.
All right. Okay.
EU
Right.
playoffs.
Okay.
EU playoffs. Okay. Actually, let's
do
talk about the EU. But I didn't watch because I was asleep, so I can't say anything.
Okay. You wanna start then? Or...
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So Splice versus G2. Honestly, I had a pretty bad feeling after game one because I like Splice outdrafted G2 really hard, and then they barely won the game. I was like, that's a sign of bad things to come from Splice. And after that, like the drafts were horrible. Like them not banning Swain 2 games in a row is just fucking inexcusable, honestly. And
Drift is split.
it just really makes no sense why they would let that through. It's just a really broken champion. I don't think any strategy you can think of that like counter Swain is particularly effective. Just ban it. Even if you like think it's a waste of a ban, I'd say it really isn't because it's a champion is that broken. I think that like even just ignoring the bans and the comps, I think that Splice players played really badly. Everyone except Niski played really, really bad, in my opinion, on Splice. I think Odomna played good. Xerxes didn't play good. Didn't play like played jungle for some fucking reason. It isn't a terrible pick, but he didn't look that good on it.
He also first picked it, which is pretty stupid. I think.
Yeah.
Like,
Kabi had an excellent split. He looked really, really good. He was like the second or third EU All-Pro team or something. But he was really fucking bad this series. Like, he was really bad. Like, probably the worst performing member on Splice. I think he definitely, I want to say, choked. He just did not look up to par. Like, his gen was pretty bad. Like, there was that game where Hjarnan was chasing him on Tristana, and he just ults randomly and dies. It was a really bad performance from Kabi. Kasing as well didn't look that good. Like in game one, when Splice were trying to defend the first tier turret in the mid lane, like Odom melted down mid and Kasing and the rest of Splice were flanking, and I was like, this is going to be a really good fight for Splice. But then Kasing doesn't shield the turret, G2 takes the turret, and then they basically just clean up the fight because if they had the turret standing, they could have been able to turn it away because of aggro, but Kasing didn't shield it, and then everyone just ended up dying and getting caught in a really bad position, especially Kabi. So it was a really bad performance from Splice. Just even as I said, ignoring the draft, the players underperformed heavily. As for G2, after game one and a pretty bad draft, they just abused the Swain open. The fact that Swain was left open, and all of them definitely played much better than their Splice counterparts. The bot lane was good. Perks was outclassed Niski in every game, and as I said, Niski was the best player on Splice, so that says something. Yanko's outjungled Xerxes, and Wonder was a beast. I didn't even say Wonder deserved like MVP instead of Hjarnan this series. Like, he looked really good on every champion he played. So yeah, really bad performance from Splice overall, both from the coaching staff and the players. Sucks.
Yeah, the Swain thing was insanely bad from Splice, even though it's like such an easy thing to see for us. I feel like they didn't pay enough attention to it. Also, Jankos going ham on Skarner. All 3 games he played Skarner, I think. I think so, yeah. Perks did his job, I guess. Didn't really do much. Hjarnan played above his standard. But he'd had, like, they praised him for, I guess, like, sacrificing himself often. And I guess for me it's like kinda int, just like, why does he die there? And yeah, overall, not convincing actually. Like a good rebound after game 1. And we'll be definitely looking towards the finals. We'll be pretty hyped no matter who they play. But I think it will be Fnatic. Okay. Someone else?
Alright, anything else to add for the semifinals against G2 and Splice? Jason, Rhett, anyone?
it was really boring, and I wish I did something else instead of watch it.
Well,
It was tragic.
Tragic?
Tragically
In what
bad.
way?
Tragedy. Just the level of play. It was
Alright
really
then.
bad. Really. What's the word? Disappointing.
Disappointing. I don't know. I just reading from Reddit threads. Yes, Reddit threads. I feel like Harnan really popped off. Apparently, he was activated. The trump card. Was it true?
Re-incoming.
I know how much Rat doesn't like Harnan, but I like him because I don't know. I just like to I just like him. That's it. But is it true that he popped off though in that series against Splice?
Yeah, he played fairly well. But again, I think that's a lot of it has to do with the fact that Splice bot lane was underperformed quite a lot, especially Kabi.
That's
They like choked essentially.
Yeah, I guess you can say that.
All right. Well, let's just make a quick prediction for tomorrow's EU semis against Fnatic and Vitality. I think personally, I think Fnatic will take this 3-1. I don't think he'll go
Yeah.
3-2. At least he'll have a mental block in the series, and he'll just do Gillies things. You know, he'll just either just straight up go into Fnatic's base, or just go up into Fnatic as a team and just die. Just give his life for them, and then Fnatic's Baron, and that's it. GG. Gillies is over. Vitality's over. I think that's tomorrow's when they stop their playoff run, and I think Fnatic will take it. I want to say convincingly. You know what? I'll say it. I think they'll take it convincingly in a 3-1 fashion.
Even though they
It
have
was
to use
game one,
football.
Yeah. Even though they have to use Whippo, I can't say that name. Wipo.
Beepo.
I think people really underestimate Bwipo.
I don't know. He
Just
looked
because
pretty
he's
good just
over.
from watching him in those 3 games or 2 games that he subbed in. He looked pretty good.
Yeah, and he's really smart about the game. That's what makes him.
But he
But
still only
the
played a
question
little
is,
bit,
though,
right?
The question is though, he's a rookie coming into the split with Fnatic. It's like, you know, it's a high tier team, a top tier team, and will he be able to handle the pressure in a best of 5
Yeah, I think so.
while being on Fnatic? All right, that's good then.
He doesn't
Alright,
really
Jason, did you wanna say
seem
it? Sorry, yeah,
phased
go
by
on.
anything.
No, that was it. I think it'll be close for both, but I don't know.
Alright.
I think
He
Gillies
has
is
a
shit.
really good
so.
mindset, like from watching his stream and stuff, and like talking to Fnatic's analyst.
Discord?
No, Fnatic's analyst Case.
Okay.
Bwipo seems to have a really good mindset. Like, I don't think he'll get tilted or like fail from the pressure.
Yeah, I don't think he needs to feel pressure at all. Like, he's on a team that has Reckless, Caps, and Hylissang, and that guy in the jungle. So I don't think he needs to feel any sort of pressure. He just needs to, like, do his job, essentially. He doesn't even need to carry or anything. He just needs to be serviceable. And I think he can do that. Like, it should be that hard. Like, especially when you consider he's, like, versus Cabashard, who he had a good split, I would say, but he's not, like, I don't know, a terrifying top laner, like someone like Alfari, or I don't know, someone who you actually have to worry about in lane. So I think he'll do fine. I think Fnatic should take this. I think like 3. I don't know. It's really hard to say. If they had Soaz, I would probably say like 3-0. With the sub, like still a 3-0 or a 3-1. It's really hard to predict this series because I feel like I'm underestimating Vitality quite a bit by saying that, because I do think they have quite a smart coach and good players. I just think that, like, looking at it, I think Caps is better than Jizuka. I think that Fnatic's bot lane is infinitely better than Vitality's, and I just think it's going to be really hard for Vitality to find an opening. Unless they do some crazy shit like cheese or something, or abuse Broxah in the jungle and the top side of the map, which, like, I think the top side of the map, if Gilius performs, might be the area where Vitality can maybe find an opening and get a victory, but I think it's going to be tough for them. I'm going to say 3-1 for Fnatic.
3-1? Okay.
I just feel like Soa's missing won't be huge because Soa's played well this split, obviously. He's Soa's. But I don't really see it blowing too much. Rippo played pretty good, actually really well in one Sion game that he played. I think it was with Giants, I'm not sure. But it was with Giants after all. For Vitality, I can see them winning through mid lane, which they did early in the split. They just hard-camped Caps, like perma-gank with Zac, and then kill them over and over and over again. That might be a way for Vitality to defeat Fnatic, but I really don't see it, especially considering Broxah always played a bit better in playoffs than he did in regular season, and yeah, I'm going with a Fnatic 3-1.
Alright. Everybody already made the predictions, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Jason, you fine with that? Okay. Okay. I think just before the Q&A, let's just touch on the NA semis just really quickly, for predictions.
Oof.
Just really quickly, okay?
Okay, so
Okay, let's go.
it's
I'll do it hard
TL,
semis.
All right,
TL versus
Jason, I think you should
Equifax.
start with this. Yeah.
Team Liquid versus Equifox tomorrow. It's kind of weird. Equifox didn't use their subs before last week. I still think they're going to be really good. I think it's going to be a really close series. Probably go 3-2 either way.
3-2, okay, either way.
Yeah, but I think Team Liquid win.
Yeah, for
No
me
win.
personally,
No
I think it's
bias.
going to be 3-2 either way, too. Yeah. I'm rooting for Liquid more than Equifox, but it's going to be 3-2. It's going to be pretty serious. It's going to be really interesting to see.
The biggest thing I think that Team Liquid has over Equifox is even though Huni is better than Impact, the difference between Team Liquid's bot lane to Equifox's bot lane is fucking massive.
Mm-hmm.
And it's more bot lane meta than top lane meta, so
Mhm.
see how it goes.
All right, Cho, you can go next.
I'm gonna say 3-0 or 3-1 Team Liquid. Echo Fox, the second half of the split, especially the end of the split for Echo Fox, has been fucking horrible. They've been on a downward spiral like for a very long time. I don't think they can take down TL. They just look like a much better team. Their victory versus Cloud9 was clean for NA standards, so I don't think that Echo Fox should pose much of a threat for TL, especially when you consider that TL has a much stronger bot lane, and all the Canadian have been pretty fucking bad for a very long time now. So we'll see. I don't think Echo Fox are gonna use like Damonte or Papa Cho as their subs. Even if they do, I don't think it's going to matter much. I just think that TL is a much better team all around. So yeah, 3-1 or 3-0 for TL.
All right, Lush.
Okay, my predictions for NA Echo Fox vs TL will be 3-1 TL, simply because I think Echo Fox bot lane, no matter if they play Adrian or Papa Chow, will be heavily outclassed by TL's bot lane. Impact will hold his own versus Huni, and Pobelta should get an advantage versus Damonte or Phoenix. Yeah, that's it.
Yep, sounds pretty fair. Okay.
Also, one thing to point, like, they were subbing both of them. Equifox only allowed to bring one sub. So who are they going to pick? Right?
I'd say Papa Cho, probably. Papa Cho.
Yeah.
Because I don't think there's
Yeah,
much
yeah.
point in subbing out Phoenix.
Like, Damonte played really well. Like, I honestly don't think he played bad by any means. But, like, subbing out Phoenix doesn't really make sense to me. And I don't really understand the point of, like, I don't know. It was a weird sub situation in general.
Yeah.
But
I agree with that. Papa Cho, yeah. Papa Cho, dude.
Hell yeah.
Will be. Hell yeah. Okay. Rat's predictions. He 3-2 Echo Fox and 3-1 100 Thieves. Okay, let's move on quickly to 100 Thieves and Clutch Gaming. I think it will be a 3-1 100 Thieves. I want to say. I mean, I don't want to doubt Clutch. Clutch.
don't doubt Couch, okay?
Yeah, I think that Clutch did pretty well. I think so far, like they proved well. But then if you ban Hakuho's Thresh, which was like the big pick in that series against TSM, what's gonna happen to the team? Do you have another cheese pick? Will they be all right without the Thresh? I mean, they're a pretty solid team. Like in regular season, obviously, they can play well from behind, but that's all according to the steals from Apollo's Ezreal, which is pretty insane. But if you take those factors out of banning Hakuho's Thresh, and then the factor of RNG of Apollo being able to steal objectives, will Clutch really be that good of a team without those RNG or those certain picks? I think the team as a whole they're solid, but Lyra can do weak things such as like face checking or invading the jungle when Fevin isn't ready, or Fevin hasn't set up his mid lane wave to push into enemy towers so it could actually help Lyra when he's invading. And there's been several times where Lyra would just in the jungle straight up, and Febby would result in losing quite a lot of XP and gold and possibly his life in that trade. Yeah, I think 100 Thieves will take it because yeah, dude. I don't want to go on the hype train, but they got sick merch, so why not?
I think 100 Thieves is going to win 3-0.
3-0?
I don't really think
Yeah.
Clutch is very good. I think SKT, TSM played really bad. I think that really it's like Solo is fine. Lyra either ints or plays Garner. Febiven's really good, obviously. Apollo super overrated. Hakuo is really good, but even like his Thresh, like everyone's like, oh, why didn't you ban Thresh? That Thresh wasn't really like. I think Swain was way more of an issue than
Swain, that's right, yeah.
Swain was a fucking monster. So I don't know. I think that they just 100 Thieves will prepare a lot better. It should be pretty quick stomp.
Alright. Cho or Lush?
Um,
Predictions?
100 will win 3-1, simply because of they outclassed them heavily in top lane, in my opinion. They had an insane second half of the split. Clutch's momentum of TSM doesn't really matter, because 100 is smart enough to ban Swain, smart enough to maybe ban Thresh and adapt. I trust him probably. Yeah, that's basically it.
Alright. Cho?
It's hard for me to say how good Clutch actually is because the way I see it, they won versus TSM because TSM are stupid and very arrogant, and TSM basically lost that series on their own, not banning Swain, not banning Thresh, not doing any sort of adaptation in terms of pick and ban. I think that Clutch can definitely take the game to 100 Thieves, mainly because Febiven and Hakuho and Febiven and the bot lane are quite. Febiven is really good, and the bot lane is solid and can hold their own. I just think in the end that 100 Thieves with the extra week to prepare to analyze Clutch Gaming, they should be able to take this series. I think the big disparities in the top lane, or even maybe the top side of the map with Someday and Meteos, like Someday should destroy Solo pretty easily, and View should be able to hold his own versus Febiven. The bot lane for 100 Thieves is I would say maybe even slightly better than the one on Clutch because Cody Sun is much better than Apollo in my opinion. So I think it's gonna be a close series. I think that 100 Thieves should take it 3-2 in the end, and also they have Prolly as the coach who is really smart about the game. So I think
He
it's
is
100.
semifinals kryptonite though.
That's true. I still think that in the end it's gonna be a really close series, but 100 Thieves should be able to take it 3-2. But yeah, really close in the end.
Oh, wait a second. I got a question. I'm watching the semifinal VODs now for ELCS. Are they not playing a big stage? It's just the studios?
Yeah.
Yeah. What?
Semifinals are never in the big stage, man. They're always in the field.
Oh, shit. Oh, I'm actually... Oh, my bad.
Holy shit.
I gotta read. Okay. Alright, let's move on. Let's just conclude. I think we wrapped up all the topics that we want to discuss about predictions too and the upcoming Gauntlet playoffs for LCK today. Alright, let's move on to Q&As then.
Okay, let's do it.
Alright, anyone want to type in chat for general? I'll check Twitch chat. Dude, I'm actually kind of hyped for this. Wait, why is Cho so dreamy? Wait, wrong cast. He's not dreamy. What the fuck are you on about, dude? He's a suffering for us all. A pain.
Well,
Well,
Yikes! Nobody watches.
Yikes,
but-
dude.
feels bad, man.
Okay. Feels bad, man. I knew this was coming. It's cause Rat's here, that's why.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of this shit.
No,
Is
it's
it
not
the
a
Euro?
year of
Alright,
IG.
I got Ben.
It's a year of
I gotta
Rogue
ban
Warriors.
Euro back, dude.
Year of the
Gotta
OMP.
kick him. Gotta kick him.
IG will crumble in playoffs.
Oh yeah, IG. Huh, I didn't see the hype. I mean, they're okay. They're good. Nah, I don't want to. Someone's gonna quote me on the stream and just fucking. I wouldn't say shit about IG. Don't worry. I'll save my ass this time. I'm already gonna get shit from KSV losing tonight. I don't want to add it. Okay. Well, if there's no Q&As, sad face. Okay, I think we'll conclude the stream. Thank you for tuning in to the LCK Discord podcast, and we'll be back within the next 6 months.
So lowest.
Yeah, that's a realistic target. Let's go.
Maybe before finals.
Maybe
When
before
finals?
finals.
Yeah,
When's
summer
finals?
finals, you mean.
Summer finals, of course. Yes.
Yeah, boy.
Okay.
I probably won't be because
Yeah,
I'm on
we get it. We
afternoons
get
that
it.
week.
You're a real with stuff member now. We get it.
No, I'm on afternoons that week, so I won't be able to be there in time.
We get
We
it.
won't be
It's
able to
gonna
have it
be
after
awesome.
work one day.
Okay. Oh, well then.
And
I
I'm
think
going
we
away.
conclude the stream. All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.